So now what exactly are conditional statements? Suppose see what happens in class in day-to-day life, in real life also, majority of the tasks that we perform, that we do, are basically based on some kind of condition. Suppose let's say you can say if it is 9:30 a.m. then start the class. Or let's say if it is Sunday, then start the class, otherwise don't. Okay. If it is raining, then take umbrella. Okay. If it is not raining, then don't take umbrella. So whether you will perform the task of taking the umbrella or not will be dependent on the rain. If it is raining, then you will take umbrella. If it is not raining, then you won't take umbrella. So that this kind of instances can be implemented using conditional statements in Python. Okay. Now, conditional statements class are basically like can be implemented using two ways. Okay. First is if, there is if else, there is if elif else. They are not two ways exactly, but these are statements that can be used to perform the operation. So let me show you. Suppose class, let's say I am saying I am taking some number from the user. Okay, I am taking some number from the user, and I want to check whether that number is even or odd. Okay, so what I will do, I will write here if, or let me take a very simple, let me take a simple example. Suppose we have the marks of a particular student. Okay, or percentage. Let's say we have a percentage of a particular student. Okay, and I want to see if that student passed or failed. So what I will do, I will write here if percentage is greater than 90, or we are checking pass fail, huh? So let's say 40. Then print, there will be a space in the starting. Okay, then we will write print pass else print fail. Now let me show you this one and another example. Suppose not example, I'm just writing the syntax. Okay, how this if else is written. If, use the word if, then followed by a condition. Okay, or that is also called as Boolean condition or Boolean constant, you can say, followed by a colon, then enter. Okay, then followed by four. In the starting, there will be four spaces. These are four spaces. Okay, and then followed by the task. It can be single task also, it can be multiple task also. Let's say I'm saying print pass, print, let's say hooray. Okay, so it can be single task also or multiple task also. Tasks that needs to be performed if the condition is true, then there is else. Now class, else is optional. Else is optional. Okay, totally up to you. Want to write it now. Okay, and what we'll write inside else, those tasks that we need to perform if the condition is false. Now here you can see class, if I run this code, what do you think will be the output? The output of the condition pers is greater than percentage is greater than 40 will be true or false? Percentage greater than 40 will be true or false? Will be true, right? Now since this condition is true, since the output of this condition is true, so automatically what will happen? Whatever you have written inside, this will be called as if block. Okay, this part of the code that I have highlighted, okay, will be called as if block. Okay, now since the condition of the if block is true, percentage is greater than 40, the condition is true, so whatever is written inside the if block will get executed. Okay, you can see it is giving us pass hooray, and what will Python do? Python will automatically ignore line number 5 and line number 6. Let me show you. Okay, just a minute. First, the control of the code will come here, then here. Now, since the condition is true, since the output, since the condition is true, the control will come here, line number 3, then line number 4, and that's it. It will completely ignore line number 5 and 6. These two lines will be ignored. But let's say, let me copy this code. Okay, and we write here, instead of 92, I write 32. 32. So in this case, what will happen? The control of the code will come here. Then line number 2. Now the condition will be true or false. Condition will be false, right? Now, since the condition is false, so what will Python do? Python will ignore this line number 3 and 4. And from line number 2, it will jump to line number 5 and it will implement line number 6. That means if we run this particular code, the output will come out as fail. All of you getting this code or not? Remember, if else is very, very important. If you're not able to understand at any point, please ask. Conditional statements is a very important topic. Now here class one thing. Here you can see class in the starting I have given some space. Okay, I have given some space. So what is this space called as? The space in the starting of the block of code. This is called as block. Okay, this is called as else block. This part is called as else block. This part. Now let's go. This part is called as else block, and this part is called as the if block. Okay, because it is written if, under if, and this is written under else. Okay, so space in the starting of the block of code is called, is termed as indentation. Okay. Now indentation class, in other words, you can say indentation basically represents block of code. Okay. So you have to give indentation. Now there are two ways to give indentation. Either give 4 spaces or press tab. Let me explain. Suppose let's say this is written here. If I run this code, it will throw an error. See, indentation error, expected an indented block after else statement. Okay, so what we can do? Either I can give 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or what we can do here is we can press a tab, single time tab. Tab key, all of you know, above caps lock on the keyboard. Okay, so now if I run this code, you can see it is working fine. All of you understood till here or not? Perfect. It is your if else. Okay. Now see here, class, one thing. So let me give you a simple question. Okay, you have to do a simple question. Okay, write a program to check if a number is even, if a number is positive or negative. Write a code, class. Take a minute. You have to write a code to check if a number is positive or negative. Assume 0 is positive for now. Assume 0 is positive for now. Write a code now. Like here we have written a code to check if a number is more than 40 or not. You have to write a condition, write the quotes. You have to check. I am saying you have to check if a number is zero or not. If it is, sorry, if a number is positive or negative. If it is positive, then print positive. If it is negative, then print negative. Like this class. You can put bracket or no bracket, totally up to you. Even if you don't put bracket, that is also fine. X is greater than equal to 0. I am considering if the number is 0, then also it is positive. So I am considering that for now. You can see, you can make it shorter also. Just if the number is if the number is greater than or equal to 0, then it is print. Then it is positive. Otherwise, it is negative. See, when I'm writing x equal to -5, it is printing negative. If I give x equal to, let's say, 5, it will give us positive. If I give 0, then also it will give us positive. Understood this thing or class or not? Perfect. Now, class, tell me one this thing. Is 0 a positive number? Is 0 a positive number? 0 is neutral, right? 0 is neither positive nor negative. 0 is neither positive nor negative. 0 is a neutral number. Okay. So now, see, when there is two possibilities, okay, then we use if else. Okay, but here there are three possibilities. Okay, that means the number can either be 0, it can either be positive, or either it can be negative. There are three possibilities. So when there are three possibilities, three or more, I would say when there are more three or more possibilities, then in that case we use elif. Okay, let me explain this how. We will write. Let us take the same code. Okay, but we will add a line between. Elif. Remember, elif always comes after comes after if. Elif always comes after if. Okay, elif. I am saying x equal to 0. From here, I will remove equal to. Okay, x equal to 0, and then we write print 0. So you can see if I write here number 5, so it will give us positive. Let me show you all three instances. Okay, here, if I write here, let's say x is equal to 0, then it will print 0. Okay, here, if I write x equal to -5, so it will print negative. Are you getting this three class, everyone? See, when there are more than two possibilities in the code, in that case, we use elif also. Okay, so basically, okay, wait. Let me explain this in a different manner. Okay? Suppose class, let's say I have written a number -5, or let's say 0 here. Okay? Forget elif for now. I'm explaining this in a different manner. Okay. Now, class, what will happen in this case? In this particular scenario, okay, first the code will come here. Line number 1, obviously. X becomes 0. Then the control will come here. Okay. Now the condition will be true or false. Condition will be true or false. False, right? Perfect. Okay. Since the condition is false, so Python will automatically ignore this line number 3. This line number 3 will be ignored. Okay. Then the control will come to line number 4. It will come inside the else block. This complete thing class. This complete thing will be called as else block. Okay. Now, and this particular else, line number 4, this will be called as outer else or parent else. Okay. This is the parent. Okay. And whatever is written inside the else block, that is called as child. Okay. So now the control will come to line number 5. Now the condition will become true or false. Right? It will be true. So it will come to line number 6. Okay, it will execute line number 6 and it will ignore line number 7 and 8. Is everyone getting this or not completely? Okay. Now this particular concept is called as nested if else. This particular concept is called as, not here, this thing. This concept is called as nested if else. Okay, because why nested if else? Because we can say that this part, the one that I've highlighted, this part of the code is basically nested under the else block. This if else, the one that I've highlighted, this if else is nested under the else block. Understood everyone or not? Perfect. Okay. Now class, this same code can also be written. See, whenever we are writing if statement, now whenever we write if statement after the else, okay, like this. Okay, whenever there is a if of just after else, okay, if is nested inside else, then in that case, what we can do, we can combine them together to make a single statement elif. And we can correctly change the indentation. Okay. Now remember class, this code and this code is same now that I was explaining earlier. Same code, right? Whenever there is a if statement just after else, okay, so you can combine them together to make a single statement called as elif. (126) and 127. See, how to decide when to use nested flow. See, nested flow you can use when there are other tasks also that you want to implement. Okay, suppose let's say you want to, there is another task. Suppose let's say you can, okay, just sorry, I have to cover one small topic and then I will come back to the question. All of you are getting this elif or not now? Now let me show you one thing. No, else cannot take any condition. No. Now, let us take a different example. Just a minute. See, one thing before explaining the another example. Now, let me explain one thing here. See what happens now. Suppose, let's say in our case, I am writing here x is equal to 8. So what will happen here? Control of the code will come to line number 1. Okay, then it will come to line number 2. Condition will be true or false. Condition will be true or false. True. So what will Python do? It will come to line number 3. It will print positive in the output and it will automatically ignore whatever is written. Elif and else will be automatically ignored. Python will not even read it. Remember this class. Understand this in this manner. Here, if the if condition gets true, it will never come to else, right? So here I am saying that it is ignoring this part of the code. this part of the code is ignored, right? Or you can also say that this part of the code is getting ignored, right? Same thing, na? So whatever is coming, if the if condition is true, whenever the if condition is true, so whatever is written inside the else will get ignored, right? Are you able to understand this class or not? Class. Perfect. Okay. Now let me show you one thing. Same example. What I will do. I will remove if from here. Okay. Now class, the else that we have written here is connected to which if? So the first if or second if? In this last code, the else that we have written, that else is part of which if statement? Remember class, else statement cannot work without if. So if is connected to which statement? The first if or second if? Is connected to the second if, no? Because it is written after the second if. Since it is written after the second if, so it is connected to the second if. So now what will happen? If I run this code, see it is showing positive and negative both. Okay, let's understand why. Here, the control of the code will come to line number 1, then 2. Condition will be true, right? Since the condition is true, so it is printing positive. So print positive, right? Then since there is at line number 4, there is no else statement or there is no elif statement. So what will happen? Python will read line number 4 also. Try to understand this class. In this case, it was coming to line number 1, then line number 2, then line number 3. Since line number 2, since the condition was true in this case, it was automatically ignoring line number 4 till 7, from line number 4 till 7. Okay, it was not even reading it. It was not even reading it. Okay, line number 4 till 7 was getting ignored completely. Okay, but in case of if statement, okay, here in the last example, in the last cell, okay, in line number 4, what will happen? There is no else statement and there is no elif statement. So Python will read. We know that it will be false, but Python will still read. Okay, x equal to 0. The condition will be true or false? Condition will be false. So since the condition of this if statement is false, where the code will go? Where the control of the control will go? Jump to which line? Else block. Exactly. Since this is condition is false, it will ignore line number 5 and the control will jump to line number 6 automatically and it will execute print negative. Got this everyone class? What exactly is happening here? Okay. Now let me explain one thing. This particular concept is called as ladder if. Why ladder if? Because it is creating a ladder. Understood? Looks like a ladder, na? Ladder to all of you know, right? This is called as ladder if. Okay. Now, whenever we are using ladder if in our code, it is advisable. I am not saying that you have to always. Totally depends on the structure of your code, but it is generally advised not to use a else statement in case of ladder if. What you can do here, you can write separately if x is less than 0, then print negative. Got it now? Now in this case, it is a ladder if, and it will check all three of conditions. Only one condition will be true in this case, yes, but it will still check all the three conditions. All the three conditions will be checked by it. Are you getting this or not, class? Yes, Lohit. Yeah, I will take other doubts also just in a minute. Okay. Okay. Same thing we can do here also if you want to. Totally up to us. You can put a elif here also. If you don't want to use else, then you can put a elif here also. X is less than C. It will work in the similar manner. Okay, but here, or can anyone tell me the difference between these two? This is example. Okay, this is example of nested if else. Why I'm calling it as nested if else? Because this is actually nested under the else statement, like that I explained earlier. Okay. So can anyone tell me the difference between these two codes that are visible to you on the screen? Can you tell me the difference between the two? Both of them will work in the same manner. The output will be same, but what is the difference? Is there any difference in terms of working? In the first example, yes, Nitin. Okay, in the first example, okay, in cell number 130, what will happen? It will check all three of them. Even though the first condition becomes true, it will check all of them. It will execute line number 3 also, line number 5 also, line number 7 also. Okay, but in case of cell number 131, okay, if the first condition is true, if the line number 3 is true, it will ignore line number 5, it will ignore line number 7 in case of the last example. Understood this thing or not, class? Right, Imran? So what happens, class, in case of ladder if, it is unnecessarily wasting time in checking all the conditions. Okay, so now you can say that, okay, then we will not use ladder if. No, it is totally up to the requirement or totally up to the application that we're building. If you know as a developer, if you know that at any given time, at any given point, it is possible that multiple conditions can be true at the same time. So for example, I'm saying that let's say there is a condition if rain equal to true. This is the first condition. Okay. You will print something. Then I am saying if sun equal to true. Now tell me one thing. In this case, class, can both of the conditions become true at the same time? Is it possible for both of them to be true at the same time? Exactly. Since both of these conditions can be true at the same time, that is why we can use ladder if in this case. Because in this case, if you use elif, what will happen? As soon as rain becomes true, it will completely ignore sun equal to true. Yes or no? So in this particular case, which is better? Ladder if or nested if? Ladder if, yes. If you as a developer know that at any given point, okay, there can be multiple conditions that can be true at the same time, then you can use ladder if. Okay, if only single condition will be true, no matter what, only single condition will be true at any given time, then in that case you can then you will be using a nested if else in that case. Got the difference, everyone? In cell 131, now you're saying what will happen if I change second elif to x greater than 4? It will still print positive only, na? Because this part of the code, will be ignored. The check bin, it is not even checking, na? Since the first condition became true, it is not even checking if it is greater than 4 or not. Are you getting this, Rishabh? We know that it will be true. But since we have written elif, so Python is not even checking the condition. Can we use if in case we want to check two condition? Can we use if? Can we use if in case we want to check two condition? Then I'm not getting your question exactly. Can you like ask by some example, like what? Give me some scenario. What you have in mind? Like हाँ तो दो if statement है तो सही. See here we are using two if statements, ना? Just a minute. Here see two if statements we are using. Okay, there is one more thing, class, you can do. Third can be else if. See what you can. In that case, na. Suppose let's say you're saying two if and the third one is elif. Okay, so in that case, now what will happen? This elif, this last elif will be connected to the second if. Getting this, class? The last elif will be connected to the second if. It will not be connected to the first if at all. Yes, Rajat, you can say that nested if else is comparatively a little bit slower than ladder if because it will check each and every condition. Both elif and else can work in the same program. Yes, if, elif, else, all of them, you can combine them together based on the requirement. I'm explaining these different examples. Why? Because I'm just trying to explain what is the difference between if, elif, and else. What exactly all three of them are doing separately. Remember, else and elif, both of them require a if statement in the starting. One thing can be done. Show you, like in this case, suppose if there is no if, there is no elif, there is no else. Okay. If I run this code, it will give me positive here. Okay, it will give me positive. But suppose let's say I am writing here the letter if this is not a letter if. Suppose if I write here -8, what do you think will be the output? No, Imran, we won't be able to cover loops. No, it will do nothing. See, everything will be executed, but it will do nothing. Why? Because control will come here, then control will come here. Since the condition is false, so and there is no else here, so it will do nothing at all. It will ignore line number 3, obviously, but it will not execute anything else. It will not give any output in this case. Yes, we have not written anything that what to do when the condition is false. Okay. So what I was saying here, what I'm trying to say here is like that whenever you are using else, so else is an optional statement. Okay. But if has to be there. Okay. Else, if statement cannot, sorry, if statement can work without a else statement. If statement can work without a else statement, but else statement cannot work without if statement. If has to be there. There is one more thing I wanted to cover. Just a minute. If else we have covered this we have covered. So this acha, already we have covered. Any doubts, anyone, class, so far? Whatever I have covered. Some of you were asking some doubts earlier. I think all of your doubts got cleared now, right? Perfect. Acha, there is one more thing, class. Now, class, suppose let's say you want to check two conditions at the same time. Suppose, let's say, let me take the example of that percentage thing that I explained earlier also. This one. Suppose I am saying that I have scored marks is equal to 91. Okay. What I can do here is, remember this example, what will be the output of this? What is the output of this? True, right? Now, what I can do, suppose I want to do something else. I will write, if the condition is true, I want to do something else. If m is greater than 90 and m is less than 100, equal to कर लेते हैं अभी के लिए. Then, what I am doing here in class, I am making a grading system. All of you must have seen the grading system now, based on percentage. Now, m is greater than equal to 90 and m is less than 100, then print grade A plus. If m is greater than equal to 80 and m is less than 90, then print what? Grade A. Plus, should I use letter if here? Letter if the correct way or elif? We use elif na? Exactly. Because at any given point, only single condition will be true, na? Print grade B positive. Okay. So you can see since I've written 91, so it is getting me A plus. So if I write here, let's say 81, it will give me A. If I write here 71, it will give me grade B plus. But if I write here 61, what do you think will be the output? What will be the output in this case, class? Nothing exactly, because none of the conditions will be true. In this case, output will be nothing. But suppose, let's say, I will write here else. Okay, print grade F. Let's say for now. All of you got this code or not? Perfect. Now there is one more thing. Let me show you. See, whenever we are writing a single statement, suppose let's say I am writing here print A plus and print good. Okay, 95. So you can see print is saying print good A plus also good also. So right now there are two statements, okay, that are part of the first if block. Okay, of this block there are two statements present, and both of them will get executed as soon as this condition becomes true. Ah, yes, Kunal, I will do that also. Now, suppose let's say there is a single statement on. If there is a single statement only written after the if statement, so what you can do, you can write it like this also. Just to save space. And you can do some kind of formatting also from your end, so that the code will look readable. Getting this class, both of them are same na? एक good हटा दो बस यहाँ से, the good one. Both of them are giving the same output, right? Are you getting the similarity between them? It is just, I have just changed how to write the code. Since there was a single line, that needed to be implemented in every condition. That is why I've written that single line after the colon in the same line only. Are you getting this, class? There is no need of indentation now. Indentation is required when you are writing after the colon in the line below. Okay, for example, you need indentation here. But since I am not pressing enter anywhere, so we don't need indentation. Got this, class? It is just a way of writing. Just number of lines is less. And the code is more readable, I guess. Right? Okay. Now you are asking, can you please how to check greatest of three numbers using if else? Now, class, we have a question here. Check greatest of three numbers using if else. Okay. Now, suppose let's say we have three numbers with us. A is equal to 9, B is equal to 5, C is equal to 7. Acha, one more thing, class. This code can also be written, this three-line code can also be written as A, B, C is equal to 9, 5, 7. So based on the positional order, the data will be given. 9 will be given to A, 5 will be given to B, and 7 will be given to C. I hope all of you got this. Either you can write in three different lines like this also, or you can write in a single line also. That is same, no difference. Now, if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then what will you print, class? Which number is greatest? A, right? Elif B is greater than A and B is greater than C. Which number is greatest? B, right? Now, since there are three possibilities, either I can write it like this also. Elif C is greater than A and C is greater than B. Print C. I could have written it like this, or you could have directly written else also. Because there are three possibilities only, na? Since there are only three possibilities, so we can write it like this also. Print C. 957 mein, it will give us A. Suppose let's say I'm writing 9511, it will give us C. If I write here, let's say 91511, it will give us B. Got this, everyone, class? If two numbers are same, suppose let's say I'm saying 9911. So it is giving us C. Suppose I'm saying 995. 995. We can take indentation. See, in this case, else the elif is actually better in this case. See, it will give us nothing in this case. So what we can do, we can put a else here separately now. Print all numbers are not different. Got this, class? Got this, everyone, or not? I'm saying all numbers are not different, no? So A and B are not different. I'm talking about all the numbers. Is it clear, class, so far? So you can write the code like that also, no? Then that if you want to put every scenario, okay, A is equal to B or B is equal to C or A is equal to C, then you can use a lot of conditions. All of you got this, everyone, till here or not? All of you got the example of grading system? You can make this completely now from your end. I am only there will be B also, C also, D also, right? All of you can complete this, right, from your end? Okay. Now let us take another example. Suppose, class, I want to check if a number is even or odd. Okay. So now in this case, suppose let's say there is a number with us. Number is equal to, let's say, 7. So how can we check if a number is even or odd, class? When can we say the number is even? When the remainder by 2, not division, when we divide the number by 2 and we get the remainder as 0, right? If we are getting the remainder as 0, what we can do, we can write here num modulus 2. Num modulus 2 will give us the remainder, and we will check here, class, if the remainder is equal to 0 or not. If it is equal to 0, then print even, else print odd. See, it is giving us odd in 7. For 8, it is giving us even. Got this, everyone, class? Within what you're saying, I'm not getting. Can but this equal to into another line. I'm not getting what exactly you're asking. See, here we're comparing. See, this part, num modulus 2 will give us something. Na? Num modulus 2 will give some output. Either it will give, in this case, since we're dividing by 2, either it will give us 0 or 1. Any one of the two, it will give us 0 or 1. So we're comparing whether the output of num modulus 2 is equal to 0 or not? That can also be done in two lines though. That is actually unnecessary, but since we're asking, that can be done. How? We can calculate the remainder separately. We can write here remain is equal to num modulus 2. And then we can check class if the remainder is equal to 0 or not. Got this? Got this class, everyone? These are two different steps. Now, one is calculating the remainder, another is checking if the remainder is 0 or not. We do this if you want to utilize the same condition for a lot of scenarios in combination. Ah, yes, that is the point, no? See, there is, see one thing, class. If you're using the remain, if you're using the remain variable only single time, so there is no point of creating the remain variable in the first place. Then in this case, this cell number 153 is better. Okay, but if you're going to use a remain, okay, this the remainder anywhere else also. Suppose later on you want to check if remainder uh, if the remainder क्या check करोगे इसमें? Not in this case. Let me give you another example. इसमें तो you won't be even checking. But suppose let's say you're checking if the number is divisible by 5 or not. If it is or not, and tell by how much it is not, by how much it is not, uh, and tell which number to subtract from the original number to make it. Are you able to understand the question, class? Suppose let's have a number 65, same example, and I want to check if it is divisible by, so 3 कर देते हैं, by 3 or not. So I will write here now modulus 3. Okay. So if it is divisible, if the remainder is 0, then we will write divisible. If the remainder is not 0, then we will write not divisible. Okay. This is the first step, first thing, first part of the question. Second part of the question where it is asking and tell which number to subtract from the original number to make it divisible. So friend, whatever is the remainder, if you subtract the remainder from the original number, suppose let's say I'm taking 65. 65 modulus 3 will give us what? 65 modulus 3 will give us what? 2, na? 63 is remainder, 63 is multiple of 3, right? 63. So 2 will be the remainder. So if I subtract 2 from 65, then will it become divisible? If we subtract the remainder from the dividend, from the actual number, Okay, then it becomes divisible, right? So see, got it? If I write here 64, so you can write 1. So in this case, we will require the remainder remain variable separately because we need the remainder also. Got this, class? Everyone? Okay, class, now I'm giving you a question. Okay, you have to write a code. Okay, you have to write a code. Just a minute. Um, I have to write a code in which you have to check two things. Okay, that the number should be positive. Number is divisible by 3 or not. Number is given or not. So you have to check two things together. The number should be divisible. It should be divisible. It should be divisible and even. Okay, so there are four possibilities. No, it is divisible even. It is divisible odd. It is not divisible even. It is not divisible odd. So you have to write four conditions. Write it down. All of you got the question? You have to write a code in which you will be checking these two things, that the number should be divisible by the number is divisible by 3 or not, and if the number is even or odd. So since you're checking two things, so there will be four combinations. Now it is getting divided by 3 also, and it is even also at the same time. वो even भी है, वो divide भी हो रहा है 3 से at the same time. Are you getting this or not? Suppose let's say 60 is there. 60 can be divided by 3 also. It is an even number also. 60 is an even number. At the same time, it is divisible by 3 also. If you take, let's say 63, so 63 is odd number, but it is divisible by 3. Okay, suppose if you take some even number, let's say 16. Okay, 16 is not divisible by 3, but it is even number. So similarly, you have to write the code for that, for all the four possibilities. Imran, you have to make combinations. You have to tell if the number is divisible and even at the same time. We're doing it in two separate. All right, Abhishek. Right, another code class. You have two variables, length and breadth. You are given a shape, okay? Length, and in that length and breadth is there, length and width, whatever you can say. The length and breadth is there. So you have to tell based on length and breadth that whether that shape is a rectangle or a square. And one more thing you have to add, if that it is a rectangle, so you have to tell that rectangle is kept in which way. Okay, it is in rectangle is present in landscape format or portrait format. First thing that you have to check if the length, if in between using length and breadth, if it is a square or a rectangle. Then if it is a rectangle, then you have to tell if it is present in portrait format or landscape format. All of you understand, na? Are you getting the all of you are getting the question right? Landscape, portrait format you are getting right? This will be the code class. Number given divisible. I hope all of you are getting the code. इसमें elif will be there. Sonia, work on the second question class. Check length and breadth. The shape given is square or rectangle. Plus, second question. Plus, this will be the code. I hope all of you are getting this. There is another logic given by Imran. Okay, you can use this also, no problem. Okay, but based on the question that I have given, Imran, check one thing, notice one thing. Okay, you have to check ki what exactly you have to apply and how you need to apply it. See, I have seen if the shape is rectangle, further check if it is in portrait or landscape format. Are you getting this? So based on the question that I have given, this will be better, right? Okay, if it is rectangle, only then it will check if it is a portrait or landscape. Clear class so far, everyone? Let me give you another question, class. Do this also, class. Class I have written multiple of 3 or 2. I am not saying and. The number should be either multiple of 3 or 2. We'll take a number, suppose let's say 6. Then you write if num modulus equal to 0. So and you are right. No, you are right. Equal to 0. Then we'll print yes. Elif num modulus 2 equal to 0 and num modulus 3 is not equal to 0. Then print multiple of 2. It is a multiple of 3, but it is not a multiple of 2. So print multiple of 3. Elif it is not a multiple of 3, it is not a multiple of 2. Print not a multiple of either of 2 or. Suppose I am saying 10. Got this class?